Hey, what's up everybody, Retro Gaming Guy here. So today in this video, we're going to unbox, demo, and review the Chuwi LarkBox X mini PC. Now this is a much more affordable price point than what I've been reviewing lately here on the channel. Currently at the time of this video, this is selling for $189.99. But let's take a closer look at this mini PC and what it offers in terms of specs before we start unboxing it. So this mini PC offers the 12th generation Intel Alder Lake N100 processor, which is 4 cores, 4 threads, with speeds of up to 3.4 gigahertz. And it's actually 25% higher in performance than the N5105 or the N5095 processors. Now this also offers 12GB LPDDR5 RAM alongside a 512GB M2 SSD that's been installed within, running Windows 11. So far the specs do seem to be pretty decent here and definitely align with that price point. So I'm really excited to actually unbox this with you guys and take a look at not only the layout and design and all of the external features and functions, but I also want to obviously boot this up and test out a wide range of games on here so we can really evaluate where the performance is with a more budget-friendly PC like this. So let's dive into it and get started. All right, guys, here is our box. Get started opening this up. All right, bit of a tight fit there. So imagine this is not our mini PC. All right. All right, so we got our warranty card in here, our inspection report, which is always good to see. Always good to have good quality control. And then we have our user manual right in here. I thought that was going to be the mini PC there, but definitely not the mini PC. We've got our user manual. It does seem to be quite extensive. I mean, absolutely massive. It comes in a bunch of different languages, walks through the different ports, different functions and features, walks through the main board and where everything is located on there, which is pretty unique. All right, and it seems consistent, you know, obviously language by language here. All right, so no matter what language you're speaking, it seems to have all your bases covered. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. Now let's further dive into this. All right, so here's our mini PC. Let's see what cables we have included before we dive into the actual mini PC. All right, so we've got a power supply cable right here. We've got our mount for this. So it's actually a different mount than what we typically see, but still it's going to function pretty much the same way. You can install this easily on the backside of like a monitor, inside of a desk, outside of a desk. If you want to use this for like an arcade one-up modification, you'd be very, you'd be able to do that quite easily. The only thing is I don't see a HDMI cable, which is not typical for mini PCs. Typically they come with an HDMI cable, but not a big deal. HDMI cables are only a couple bucks and most of us have a bunch of them on hand. But yeah, it was strange that it didn't come with a HDMI cable. I've never seen one not come with one, but all good there. All right, so here is our mini PC. So this is all plastic, but it does seem to be put together quite nicely. It's got a matte finish on it. I like the fact that we have the ventilation right here at the top, which I think is going to be great for cooling. We also have some in the back as well. So this obviously has the Intel graphics as well as processor here. So we have Intel inside located right here on the front, but we have two USB 3 ports, USB Type-C port right here, audio jack connection right there, power button right here in the front. Love how easy all of that is to access right in the front of the mini PC. Now, nothing on the sides here, but if we flip this around to the back, you're going to see where we would plug in our power supply cable right over here. Very simple to make that connection back there. We also have two Ethernet ports right here. We have a display port, an HDMI port, as well as two additional USB 3 ports. So we pretty much have all of our bases covered right here in terms of port options, both on the front and back, but certainly do like the fact that we have pretty much everything that we need on the front for gamers. So if you want to plug in external controllers and stuff like that, you have easy access. If you want to bring a keyboard into the mix, a mouse, because you're moving files around or whatever you may be doing on there, you have all of that easily accessible without having to physically turn everything around. But if you do need the additional ports, obviously they're back here as well. I do like the fact that we have DisplayPort capabilities here in addition to regular HDMI. So very easy to get this up on multiple displays at the same time, the way that it is currently set up. Now, let's actually see if we can open this up. Before I move on to opening this up, you can see we have 4 screws on the bottom here. So one more thing I want to show you before we actually open this up and I take these 4 screws out, I want to show you guys that this piece right here, which actually connects over to our mount. So I took the mount out of the bag right here. So what's really awesome about this is no matter where you want to install this, let's take a arcade cabinet as our example today. Say you want to install this into the inside of the cabinet, that you can access from the back side. Simply install this to the wall. You have 4 screw holes here, secure it in place. And once that's secured in place, all we have to do at that point is simply take our mini PC, line up the back, and it drops in place. And you can see how it is super safe and secure on there. So you would be able to remove your mini PC anytime you want to use it outside of your cabinet. And then when it's time to bring it back home to the cabinet, just simply line it up back here, slide it into place, and it's, again, safe and secure on there, but fully accessible. You can take it off, make your connections, slide it right back on. Just really a seamless way to actually use a mount. I've seen so many mounts that are not that simple. You have to make physical connections to the actual PC as well as to the wall. It just makes for an awkward, disconnection. So with something like this, it's literally that simple. So love that. So let's open this up and see what we've got going on inside. All right, doesn't get much easier than that. So if you wanted to go in here and, customize things or swap out the SSD, install another SSD, whatever you want to do, very easy to access everything inside. If you wanted to get into this a bit further, you would have to further break this down, obviously, to get access to the board underneath there. But you can see just opening it up like this, that it is very easy to make all your connections when it's time to put everything back together. I don't want to mess around in here too much. I'm happy with the way that everything is set up currently. I think that SSD is going to work wonders for me as it is. So when it is time to make that connection, just line up. You'll notice that we have an arrow there, an arrow right here. That is your indication as to whether you have it going the right way. And then simply put these screws back into place. But I'm going to put these back in. We're going to fire this up and test out a bunch of games on here to see where the performance actually lies.
Napier's cleaning out. First and goal. 25! Rolls right. Catching up. That defense is looking sharp.
So we jumped in here and we tested out Classic Arcade. I went into some of the early home console collections like NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Master System. I didn't show many of those, if any of them, in this video, just in an effort to keep things short and sweet. I tried to focus on the more challenging stuff. So we jumped into Sega Saturn, awesome experience there. We jumped into Dreamcast. For the most part, very good experience there as well. N64 performed very well. And PlayStation 1 also performed very well. Now, as I tried to kick it up a few notches, I jumped into Nintendo GameCube. GameCube had a lot of issues. I was able to actually have a better experience going into the Dolphin emulator through Batocera than I did through LaunchBox, which was actually a little bit surprising to me, but I was able to have a playable experience with Mario Kart Double Dash in Batocera. When I tried to do the same thing on LaunchBox, it was just an absolute mess. I also tried through RetroBat as well. And for some reason, Batocera was the way to go here. Much better, but you definitely hear some audio issues in the background. Some intermittent lags kind of pop in and out of the gameplay experience. I also tried to jump into NFL Blitz 2003, and over there I found a lot more lags and delays that were thrown into the mix a lot more often. They weren't consistent. It wasn't a laggy experience from start to finish, but they would jump in there at random, and I definitely felt like the audio was a little bit off there as well. So GameCube, anything that's using the Dolphin emulator, definitely pushes this system a little bit too far, to the point where you do get a little bit of pushback. And then everything beyond that, with the exception of PS2. PS2 actually surprised me and was a consistently good experience. I jumped into about 6 or 7 titles for PS2, tried to mix it up a little bit, and I'm sure I only showed you guys here a couple of those, just to, again, keep this video short and sweet. But I consistently did have a good experience with PS2 emulation. It was surprising to me. I thought that we would, I thought that would kind of get lumped in there with GameCube, but it was a good experience, and I didn't have to make any adjustments within the emulator to get that experience. Everything was stock, the way it was on Batocera. That's what I chose to go into today. And I even tested it out through LaunchBox as well, again, with no adjustments being made to the emulator. Also tried to jump into original Xbox, and the games do load up. The games that should load up properly with the emulator do load up, but it is a very laggy experience. It feels like you go into slow motion very intermittently there as well. So I just don't think that Xbox would be a phenomenal experience for anybody. You may get lucky with a title or two, but for the most part, I would avoid original Xbox on this mini PC. Wii U, as well as Wii, definitely has some pushback, just like GameCube, but Wii U and Switch are just a little bit too far out of reach. PS3, certainly way out of reach for this. We just don't have, you know, enough going on there with the processor to effectively even think about getting into PS3 emulation. So with that, AAA titles totally out of the question as well. So that gives you at least an idea as to what type of experience you would have on here, retro gaming. But again, I think when considering the price point and the specs, it all does line up with each other. So I don't think this is a bad deal by any means. It's just not going to be your super high-end option here for retro video game emulation. You're going to have some limitations here, but again, it is a fair price point. It's very well put together. I do really like the mini PC itself too. I like that we have great ventilation on here. I like the layout and design. I like the fact that we have the USB 3 ports in the front, as well as the Type-C port. Audio jack obviously is super important for somebody that wants to play with a headset on. And then of course on the back side, I do like the fact that we have the display port as well as HDMI capabilities. So you can actually take this up to 2 monitors right out of the gate. And I believe you could actually use the Type-C port in the front as well. So you could possibly even get into 3 monitors on here at the same time. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't test that out, but I do know for a fact that the display port and the HDMI port in the back you could use at the exact same time to bring up multiple displays. So we also have the 2 USB 3 ports in the back too. So I actually streamed with this. I did a lot of different things with this today, and I was able to handle everything quite well and effectively. So we have enough port options to have a comfortable experience there, no matter how you want to go about doing that, whether you're bringing in, you know, micro SD card readers or flash drives into the mix, a keyboard that uses a USB port, mouse, controllers, whatever the case may be, you're definitely going to be able to do that effectively here on this mini PC. So weigh out the pros and cons, see if it lines up with what you're looking for, the types of games and emulators you want to get into, and you know, price it out, see where it lines up for you. But I think it's a great option. Just consider where the performance lies and the price point and all that. So let me know what you guys think though in the comments of this video. You guys know the deal. If you're looking for additional information on this, I'll put a link up here at the top of your screen as well as in the description. That's going to do it for today though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please give me a thumbs up on the video. And of course, hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the Retro Gaming Guy YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.